Like the language dimension is such a weird dimension. It's like so hard for me to get into it, and then once I'm in it, it's just like.
This is totally new for me too.
Together. Yeah, go that way.
That's really nice.
And sound is the one thing that like will actually convey your inner experience to the outer world. So literally sometimes I'll just I'll just keep digging deeper until I like squeeze some kind of sound out of them.
Yeah.
Because then you know you're
always going for that.
Yeah, because then you know you're like touching on their inner experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, did we get a crack?
Oh yeah, that was nice. No. Your head is gonna do to massage me. I know.
Cuidado. That was a kick, not a massage.
Oh, there's a good foot somewhere. Oh, fuck.
So that's why, like, in group dynamics, like the secret is you have to be super fluid. So basically, if you want to navigate a giant puddle of like 20 people, you don't even try to crawl. Right, because it's too many points of pressure. Like if you want to get across the sea of like 20 people, you just roll. You just roll over them, and you distribute the pressure as evenly as possible. Because you can roll over skulls, because skulls are actually pretty tough. You just don't want to put anything pokey in any like eyeball orifices. You know?
That seems like a good rule of thumb. I did not mean it that way. And then
There's also the dynamic of the active receiver that I think would maybe be worth speaking of, where it's like you're moving into the touch you like and repositioning and interacting with the giver.
It's like an agency.
That's a great topic. In fact, that's a whole nother level because you're starting to get into the true magic of dominance and submission. Right. I was kind of like dissociated from the whole BDSM world forever because I didn't like the whole like weird kinky like symbology and like you associate with it. But once somebody was able to like actually teach me business using BDSM metaphor, it broke me out of the perceptual limitations of it and into the principles, and how the true principle is that every human interaction, no matter how subtle and no matter what dimension, is some expression of dominance and submission. Like even this conversation is an expression of dominance and submission. Like I am dominating this conversation right now. Right? But
interesting.
And we're all in subspace.
Yeah. You know, but there's this. Wish. Sorry. The inner secret power of the understanding of the interplay of the two is that they are perfectly matched and mirrored. Dominance and submission cannot exist without each other, and they cannot exist out of balance.
Yeah.
Right?
Just a give and take.
Yeah, so what happens is you can only dominate someone to the degree that they are receptive to being submissive. Right? So what happens, and once you understand that, then you get to do this thing that's like called topping from the bottom, where when you understand that you can control a situation by controlling what you're receptive to, then you can actually steer the course of interaction from a submissive position. Because you get to you are the person that gets to decide what you are submitting to.
Well, how much you let somebody in.
Yeah, exactly.
So I find this in bodywork
or even
too.
specifically what you allow in from them, you know?
Yeah. Well, so I find that like some people that I work on, I can't go deep with them because they're holding on too tight. They won't relax. Like I like how you shared like you can get anybody to relax, but sometimes I do have trouble like getting somebody just like chill out. Well, I have to like slap them and shake them.
No, it's because you as an individual are having a hard time getting them to relax as an individual.
Yeah.
So I've also created an entire practice of bodywork that subjugates the identity component completely. Because there's a lot of people that are like that, like especially like these tech people that are like don't interact with humans.
Yeah.
Like they're so touch phobic
Right.
that even human contact alone, like just the fact that your body is in contact with their body causes them to like clench down.
Yeah.
And so then like they're like I'm like, how do I ever massage somebody that's like this like so touch phobic?
Right.
And so what I did was I engineered an entire practice of bodywork that is based on the principle of I'm not actually massaging them, I'm helping them massage themselves. So you're displacing the agency like outside of your identity into their physiology. And so you are physically touching them, but you're one layer away from the effect. So what happens is like they won't let me put my knuckles into their piriformis, right? But I can put their knuckles into their piriformis, right?
Oh, so if I took their hand,
Use their hand to massage themselves, and all of a sudden the level of receptivity that they're going to have is going to 10x like instantly.
Interesting.
It's like
this
not
is
an
really interesting
alien
because I have a
thing.
client that it's so funny. His body's always so tense, but he enjoys it. But I'm like, I don't feel like we're going deep together, so I don't really like working with him.
Yeah, there's a lot of different spectrums. I mean, there's people where the session isn't actually about the body work at all.
Well, yeah.
The session is actually about the domination. Like, because what happens is one of the beautiful things about subspace is when you dominate somebody completely and they no longer are in control, it frees up their attention because since they don't have to be in control anymore, all of their conscious awareness is completely liberated from the process, and then they can go into like free-form creative space. So there's I have sessions with people that are like that, where it's
Well, he also wants to talk the whole time. Oh, too much?
A little too much, yeah.
Which I find interesting. I'm like, don't you want to relax?
I mean, I'm talking to you guys. You know,
You're relaxed.
it's like it's a skill set. Like the ability to like operate both sides of your brain at the same time is just a skill set. You know, you just have to practice. I mean, there's been points in my like experience where I'd be so dropped into the body experience, and I'd be like rolling around with somebody, and then all of a sudden they just say something to me, and I would like glitch the system, and then all of a sudden we would just like fall over because like, you know, like I didn't know how to like cooperate the polarities, you know. But doing this is actually like a perfect example of like, you know, that they can coexist. It just takes a development of the ability to stay present with both. And I fluctuate with it, you know. I go in and out. So the way the functional mechanism of that works is you can basically make people massage whatever part of you want by just presenting that part to them. You know, they're like, actually, you know, I'd rather you work on this part of me, so I'm just gonna roll around. So that's the part that you have access to.
Because I'm always curious, like, I always ask for people's feedback too, like, if it feels like an inch or two over would feel better.
Yeah, well, so what happens is you just need to give them the agency to do that themselves.
Right.
You're like, yo, this
I don't
is
like when they try to help. I want them to be fully relaxed. It's a little different.
And that's why you just gotta like mix it up.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that they can't anticipate what you're trying to do, because if they don't know what you're
That's-
trying to do, they
yeah.
can't help you. So you just like if you feel them trying to help, which is a super common like neurological human process.
Right.
Like
Confuse them.
yeah, you just confuse the shit out of them, and they won't even know how to help anymore.
Yeah. That's what I've done recently.
Or you just
I like
put 'em-
to,
you
I
just
just
put
like
'em in
drop their arm and I
position-
do something totally different.
Or you
and
just
they're like,
completely immobilize them. You know, they just hide the arm, like tuck the arm under here, and then they're like, oh, okay, here, okay, move. Like, I mean, that's why like the sitting on people is like so cathartic. Is like if you can get somebody in position where they no longer have the ability to do anything, then they're physiologically automatically in subspace. They're like, okay, I give up. I can't do anything. You got me. Where's your good brush?
Yeah.
This feels amazing.
What's
I
that?
said this feels amazing, and I'd love to roll it around also.
Oh yeah, you can. It's fine though.
Oh, well, and then what happens is once you get familiar with what active receiving looks like, it no longer has to be a polarity. You know, like you can just massage each other simultaneously in this like crazy morphic field of embodiment.
Is it okay to go pee outside?
Yes, we highly recommend peeing outside because we can here. What a gift.
Any idea?
But yeah, I mean, that's
I
all.
know.
Sometimes I just do that. Like, like, I mean, there's been people that, you know, after I worked on one a couple of times and the novelty is worn off, they'll call me out and they'll be like, "Wait a second, are you actually massaging me, or are you just using your body to massage myself?"
Yeah, I do that too.
Yes,
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yes.
Can I start doing your front also? That might be easier for me to start.
It's a little dry. We didn't get the whole like salty, oily, steamy download. Yeah, there's like foam tiles in the bottom of the steam bath.
Foam tiles.
Yeah, I mean it makes it like more comfortable, but it's not exactly the most like oil friendly environment.
I've given oil body work sessions in there. Works pretty good.
Work in the steam bath.
It works pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I've like gone into like wormhole space with Roz in there. It's like, wait, I'm wasting this. Fascia wormholes.
Fascia wormholes.
Fascia wormholes.
Well, it was fine.
That's where we live.
Just don't crush the nail.
Welcome to your new house, the fascia wormhole.
All right.